Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel and not received any notifications of new videos? There's an easy solution. Go to our website, 2020.productions, and join our free email list. Then we'll notify you every time with handy links to the latest videos, so you'll always know what's going on. Hello and welcome back. Always good to know that you're there. 2020 Visions is a retelling of the story of Alec, aged 80 in the year 2020. He's frail and half-blind. His visions are those of 3 love affairs, 1960, 1980 and 2000, brought to life on stage by 2 virtuoso actors, a man and a woman who play 6 characters between them.
The sight's a bit more worrying. I remember the parents' optician telling me I had 20/20 vision. Now I can hardly see past the end of my nose. They're saying it's cataracts. When it comes to memory, though, I'm long-sighted. I can still remember 60 years ago as if it were now. 1960 vision, I call that.
I'm Maurice Thorogood, director of this play, and I am so looking forward to putting 2020 Visions on the stage. And in this presentation, I'm discussing the role of 80-year-old Alec with 2020 Visions writer, Paddy Gormley. Now, Paddy, please describe the 80-year-old Alec for us.
It's like all of us, we're all the sum of our pasts. And here we have...
Yes.
I think of the 3 younger Alecs as defining Alec80.
Yeah.
The gauche 20-year-old who got lucky by being seduced by a real woman twice his age.
Yeah.
Seduced him, conceived a child by him. Of course, her death was the pivotal moment in his life. The child was never born, and she died in that pregnancy. Age 40, he's a much less passive character. He's off searching for Natasha. He's decided he's going to go and hope to find love, the love that he lost. And they fell in love. He was looking for lost love. He wanted to tell her that he was looking for lost love. He wanted to tell her that he'd had an affair with her mother. He just couldn't make the words come. And he left it far too late. They were getting on so well, and he knew all the time that there was this thing he had to say. And of course, when it came, it was an absolutely devastating revelation. And she hated him. Even 40 years on, half the age of the Alec we now see on stage, he was wounded by her. And then you can see still, 20 years on, the scars of that affair when he comes to have his affair with Lucy. Their affair was a disaster, did absolutely nothing for him. So, by age 80, Alec is a different man altogether. He's moved on considerably. He doesn't have to go in search of anybody anymore, but he's haunted by these visions. He has plenty of time to reflect on what happened and why.
I find this really interesting, the fact that a man goes through an experience that changes his personality. This young man full of life. At the age of 20, he meets Belinda. The tragic circumstances that happened to him as a young man change him as he moves on to his next love.
We use that word traumatised a lot these days, and that really, I think, sums it up. He was traumatised. Who wouldn't be? If you look under the skin of what was happening there, it wasn't just a death. It was a secret affair. No one knew about him. She didn't dare speak about her love affair with a young man. She would have been an outcast. To have a child outside of marriage was an absolute killer. And he then had to face the guilt of sitting in his little room, not declaring himself, knowing about this death, at least something, knowing that he was a party to the fact that she was pregnant, and never telling a soul. Who wouldn't be traumatised?
It was terrifying. I thought she was going to ask me about the inquest. Eclampsia, I remember. The press report said the mortality rate of pregnant women aged 40 or more was particularly high. Natasha must have realised I was the father of the unborn. I was a Judas. She was right. I didn't have the guts to face the inquest. All my fine words were lies. And what did I do? Holed up in my digs, half expecting the policeman's knock in the middle of the night, taking me away to face the truth.
In today's excerpts, Alec80 is played by Mansel David. So let me move on now to this wonderful ageing gentleman, Alec. You describe him as frail and half-blind.
I think actually it comes from my late mother. Her sight had been fading since my early childhood, and she was more or less completely blind for most of my adult life. I'm sure her memory was all the more acute because of this. Her conversation might take us to her time as a newly qualified teacher, a very different era in the 1930s, and then fast forward to 40 years later. And that's what Alec80 does.
Well, not now, when you're in such a hurry. Maybe we could meet again and have a bite of lunch together here. What do you say?
Perhaps I might do. Friday?
Yes, all right. Friday, 1 o'clock.
You win. I'm hooked. Must go.
The worst of it was that I was hooked. The medicine. Poison, more like. There's only one place for this lot. I just had to see her again. Let it all hang out.
He hates it. The visions have always been there. Long before the medicine. He's had a rotten life. One brief spell of true love, then 60 years of regret. He likes to blame the medicine for the visions, but it's just his way of trying to persuade his carers to stop forcing him to take it. He knows that the visions won't go away. I don't think he even wants the visions to go away. But he's a haunted man.
We've been discussing the character of Alec80 in Paddy Gormley's play 2020 Visions. In the next presentation we meet Roz, a member of Alec's care team.